I love the black community, and I've done more for the black community than any other president. And I say, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
So black people and people who care, do you know why we keep saying that we believe that Trump's goal is to enact martial law? Do you know what martial law is? No?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to a video of President Trump that has been going viral on the internet, of him giving a speech about how black neighborhoods have been asking him for security, that they're afraid to even go out on the streets to buy a loaf of bread, yeah?
And this would have been a good thing if police in America behaved with black American community,
equally, yeah.
If they treated black American communities well. But we often hear on TikTok black Americans complain that one of the most dangerous things to a black American person's life, especially male, is a police officer.
Right. That being said, guys, black Americans have accused Donald Trump of setting the table for martial law, right?
Right. So let's watch what they had to say about this, and then you come back and talk about it. You can also let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section, and also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Let's watch.
I love the black community, and I've done more for the black community than any other president. And I say, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
So black people and people who care, do you know why we keep saying that we believe that Trump's goal is to enact martial law? Do you know what martial law is? No? All right, so stay tuned for this video, okay? So by definition, martial law is the temporary replacement of military authority for civilian government in case of an emergency, all right? Reading straight from the definition. It can be invoked during times of war, labor disputes, natural disasters, and civil unrest in the United States and in other regions. All of these executive orders that he's been doing, all of these policies that he's undoing, like DEI, or putting back into place, like segregation in the federal workplace, it's rage bait. It's rage bait. And while there are other groups that have been affected by what he's doing,
Safety and defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. We need, look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African-American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged and beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it. But the black population wants law enforcement more than any other population. So
black Americans don't have mass school shootings. But you made a point of talking about crime in our area, as if there's no crime in the suburbs, as if husbands aren't beating the fuck out of their wives, as if so much white crime is not going on out there, white collar crime. Well, but that's not important.
Safety and defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. We need.
On behalf of the black community, I would like to say, no the fuck we don't. Stop your bullshit. Get the fuck on. Stay the fuck away from us.
Let's be crystal clear. What black people want is equal justice. What black people want is for black people to not be executed in the streets and allow officers to get away with, I thought my life was in danger. I felt I was threatened. When they shot the person in the back as they ran away. What black people want is when young white boys break laws, assault people, do pranks and hijinks, not to be called boys and children. You know, like the coach's son, 21 years old, and they called it a childish hijinks for him to steal someone's phone call, make prank calls, and broadcast those calls. It was a hijinks. He, at 20 fucking years old, he was referred to as a boy. Or Tamara Rice was shot down, and they referred to him as a man. We saw a man. We felt threatened. We thought they were a danger. That is what the black community wants. But we see you. You found El Salvador to shuffle off people 3 or 4 shades lighter than us. But we also hear that you and Rubio are talking to Rwanda and 2 or 3 other African nations where you could deport black Americans out of the country. Yeah. Black Americans want to know about that shit. Black Americans are watching you. Black Americans have known how prejudiced you are for decades. What black Americans want is for our white counterparts to get their boots on the fucking ground.
So yesterday, Donald Trump signed an executive order ordering that federal agencies to increase the flow of military and security equipment to local law enforcement, okay? So now local law enforcement will be receiving unused military equipment. It seems as though we are on our way, somewhat like a prelude to martial law. And a lot of people, a lot of citizens are speculating that that's exactly what it is, that this executive order is a gateway to martial law. So the order does not actually specify the type of equipment that local law enforcement will be receiving, but just going off of what we know from the past, you could definitely at least expect armored vehicles, tactical equipment, surveillance teams, basically whatever we see when one of our people are holding a protest with the SWAT team. Yeah. Basically, how Donald Trump kind of presented it is that our law enforcement today can't really do their job because they're so scared of how they will be reprimanded, God forbid that they make a mistake or whatever the case may be. And so this executive order is going to allow them to be able to just focus on doing their job, meaning if they even so far has to go as being even more aggressive to enforce whatever law that they need to enforce, they shouldn't hesitate, that they can be more aggressive and not have to worry about the backlash or the consequences because they'll be taken care of via this order. And I'm going to tell you how. So I'm reading from an article that comes from The Nation that's discussing this topic. So it says that the police are now protected by powerful, well-funded, and well-lawyered unions, okay? They are protected by the judicial doctrine of qualified immunity, which prevents them from being personally sued for monetary damages when they damage or destroy property or lives. They're protected by prosecutors and district attorneys who work alongside them and often reluctant to charge them with crimes. The entire system is designed to allow cops get away with crimes. That's exactly what it is. So you mean to tell me now a cop who had been held criminally liable, they've been held criminally liable, can now have their expenses paid for? They have their expenses paid for. So if you don't have to worry about losing your job, you don't have to worry about having to now pay for these lawyer fees if you do mess up, why would you care about not messing up? Cops will also get free lawyers and not the overworked, underpaid attorneys that you and I would get for legal aid. No. See, Trump had actually been bullying law firms into providing pro bono services for conservative reasons or causes. But he didn't exactly tell them what those causes were supposed to be. And now they know. Oh, and just so you know, no pro bono lawyer will be made available for the people that the cops decide to murder, beat up, or otherwise harass. No, you still get legal aid if you can't afford one. And just so you know, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Defense have 90 days, 3 months, basically, to start expanding the provision of military and national security resources to assist state and local law enforcement. They got 3 months, 90 days to get them all of the material and equipment that they need. With that being said, Although we are about 2 or 3 executive orders away from martial law, constitutionally at least, being allowed to be enacted, Black and brown people, please, 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 do not go out into the streets unless you absolutely have to. Don't go out into the street trying to become some type of martyr, because they will make one of you. They will.
Donald Trump just passed 2 major executive orders on April 29th, and nobody is talking about them. Nobody whatsoever is talking about these 2 major executive orders that Donald Trump passed on April 29th. First, he dropped the executive order that supercharges federal law enforcement. Pay attention. It calls for Homeland Security and even the military to use resources to back the police. Remember, a couple weeks ago, people was talking about martial law? Pay attention. The feds can now go after local officials if they impede law enforcement. That's a big shift, man. Pay attention. This executive order gives federal law enforcement more power than ever. Is this an attempt for him to see how far he can extend his reach and try to push martial law? We don't know nothing. Nobody talking about it. Seems like nobody's paying attention. We have to pay attention to what's going on around us. With all these executive orders, we don't know what tomorrow gonna bring. Pay attention.
President Trump has just officially declared martial law as of today, April 29th, 2025. Yesterday, he signed the executive order called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and to Protect Innocent Civilians. This is terrifying, and nobody is talking about it except Rolling Stone magazine for some reason. Please go to whitehouse.gov, read the full text yourself, and spread this word. In summary, he declares that the military, the police, and ICE shall be unleashed into the streets of America to root out anything they declare as crime. They will be shielded from any prosecution for wrongdoing of any kind. If a civil official stands in their way, they will be prosecuted as a criminal. What this means is that no warrants will be needed by anyone. If you get murdered by ICE, that's legal. If a judge or an attorney tries to prosecute them, they will be arrested themselves. This is a state called martial law. It means that the military, the police, and ICE decide the law now. We no longer have rights. As Trump and Pam Bondi have both said, speaking out is a crime. Disagreeing with the president is a crime.
I want them to speak every day about you. That's what Black Americans want. Not the toadies. Not the ones that you sift through. Who, when you say, we all agree, you know, they sit there and go, no. Not those Black Americans. Us, who speak out with our whole chest. Those are the Black Americans that you're afraid of. Yeah. Those are the Black Americans that you don't really want to hear from because it doesn't fit into your neat little box. Strangely, you like to talk about crime, but you don't talk about the rich people who got poor kids to go steal from drugstores, department stores, do mass raids, where they ran in and broke all the display cases. Those were rich people that got them to do the dirty work. Yeah, that right there. But you don't want to pay attention to those folks. More white people are on food stamps than people of color. More white people have ripped off food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, than Black people. But, Black people are afraid of crime. Black people are afraid to go to the store and get a loaf of bread. Black people want police. No, Black people want police to be held accountable. They want to get rid of that fucking immunity that you're so happy with. Because, see, Black people understand that whole immunity shit didn't come up till the early 80s. So, all that time in the history of law enforcement, if officers fucked up, they were held accountable. You now want police unions to pay for police officers' attorneys. You know, those who broke the law, those who disgraced the badge that they chose to wear. I'm waiting for my retired police officers to say, fuck that shit. We did all the rules. We behaved. We followed the law. And because this guy decided to beat the crap out of an innocent person, be they homeless or whatever, you want my retirement funds to pay for their defense? Yeah, I'm waiting for the police unions to publicly say, if you want to pay for that shit, you go the fuck ahead. Hey, Mr. Big Wallet, crack open your wallet. You pay for their fucking defense. And then they can pay you back. Because we have retired officers over here who live off that pension. And you're not going to drain that shit because you're already talking about getting rid of Social Security and Medicare. Then what the fuck would they have? Yeah. That right there. Pay strict attention to this goddamn video. I'm gonna go look it up. Go watch it. Cause it damn sure sounds like martial law if you have brown skin. I could be wrong, but y'all fill me in. Go watch it. I'm also gonna post it just in case TikTok decides to get a little fucking freaky. It will be posted both here and on my YouTube. Tea Time with T. So even if they take it down, you can go watch it there. Tell me what you think, because I respond back.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played here. So would you say that Black Americans are valid for thinking that President Trump is trying to set them up for martial law, you know, to enact martial law on them, you know?
Right,
and
because up until recently, since Trump took office, they have been trying to bait Black Americans into the streets, and for the most part this has not worked, you know, because Black Americans are deciding to stay in their lane and minding their own businesses while dealing with problems in a different way other than protest, right? So I do feel like they have tried every avenue to provoke Black Americans, and in the same light provoke rage bait, you get?
Right. And the main question is, when they eventually, let's say they find a reason to enact martial law in America, especially the Black communities, yeah, you ask yourself, who exactly are they targeting? Like specifically, who are they targeting? We don't need to answer that question because we already have an idea of it, right? And
what are they planning to do with these said people, and where are they planning to take these said people that they consider troublesome?
Right. Martial law is supposed to take care of such things like labor dispute, civil unrest, and let's look, for example, the recent policies that Trump has been passing. They're very problematic, and obviously before America becomes stable, we first still have to see if these policies are going to work. Now, Americans, a lot of them are worried that a lot of these policies are gonna breed civil unrest, because the more President Trump passes these policies, it means that more people are losing jobs, more people can't afford, the cost of life is going up, and more people cannot afford their daily cost of living, you know. So people are beginning to say that they're gonna be seeing situations where civil unrest will occur, because some people will want to take things by force, especially if you go into a certain store and try and find that some products are empty on the shelves, you know. People are gonna look for alternative means to survive. So I'm wondering, is it like they're setting up a situation where they eventually are going to have to, you know, enact that martial law? And is it like whatever events are taking place right now, is it setting the table for that.
Right, and right now I'm faced with more questions than answers because, okay, we do get the need for a caring president wanting to protect his citizens.
Right.
But why doesn't it cut across all boards? Why Black American communities only? And secondly, there is a woman who talked amongst our speakers today, and she brought up a very valid point. And I'm just asking myself, why are they not treating the white people and white neighborhoods the same way they're treating Black neighborhoods?
Right. And you like, I feel like you have to treat everybody fairly. And from the president's speech, you could hear him talk about how dangerous Black neighborhoods are, and therefore they need to enhance security there. It would be okay if this was like coming from a truly concerned president, but being that he has a history where he does not like people who look like this, any other person who looks differently, he has never cared. And he actually wasn't shy to show his racist ways, and people know that he does not like certain people. So when you come on the screens and pretend that you want to keep this same group of people safe, and you're not talking about the white counterparts, because I feel like the white community is not so perfect as to ignore or to not do whatever you're doing to the Black community with equal measures. Also do that to the white community, because at the end of the day, they're also criminals there,
Right, because, and as I said, one of the speakers was saying that you don't find insecurities in Black American communities only. You also find insecurities in white communities, especially school pupilling. So her biggest question was, the same way you are intending to increase security in the Black neighborhoods, are you going to increase security in those white schools that often have school pupilling?
Right. Okay, let me ask another question. There's a lady who talked about police officers, despite having lawyers who defend them in their unions, right now they're backed by powerful, well-funded, well-lawyered unions who, like, well-funded, if you circle that word, powerful and well-funded, it means there's someone who's waiting to benefit for a specific reason
From a specific chaos. And then, they always say there are so many ways to skin a cat, right? So the reason why I'm saying this is, if they have tried to end or reduce the Black population, this is just if they have allegedly tried to reduce the population to no avail. There are many ways to skin a cat, and giving authorities pupils to go and attack a certain area within legal bounds and making it legal, that is also another way to reduce this community.
Right, that's like giving them permission to go and do whatever, because they already know
they won't face consequences.
Exactly.
Because right now as it is, police officers are behaving really badly, and most of them have gotten away with recklessness or senseless unaliving of Black individuals and citizens in general. So imagine if these officers right now are being given well-funded lawyers and they are being given weapons and told, go and police this certain area.
Right. Anyway, we're just waiting to see what the future of America is gonna be, because people right now are suspecting a lot of things, and we're just waiting to see. Hopefully, we are praying that things don't go to the extreme end. But this is like one of those situations where you say the storm is coming and everyone has to walk through it. It's gonna look different for everyone, of course, especially if you're a different color from being white.
Right.
Then,
and also another speaker spoke of Black Americans being deported in Rwanda. Now, I Googled this, and it said that the American government is still in talks with the Rwandan government to take immigrants who are being deported, right?
Right.
But the reason why I do understand why Black Americans feel like they're being targeted is, take for instance, the episode we did just yesterday, right? There was a big number of white people who went out to protest and a countable number of Black people who joined them, right? And yet when police officers were doing arrests, a lot of the people who were arrested were Black people. So can you just imagine, when it comes to people like immigrants, a white Ukrainian versus a Black, a Black American or an African American or someone who is black, who is not originally from America, who are gonna be the biggest amount of people who are arrested, rounded up, and deported to Rwanda, even if the government says it's inclusive of everybody in America.
Right. That's true. Just on paper, I think for formality's sake,
It says everybody will be deported, the
but on the
dangerous
ground,
ones.
but on the ground, you know, that what to be true and what not to be true, you know. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. We really want to thank you for creating time to watch our episode. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and let's catch you on our next episode.